Aunt April in the house. Woo woo. Y'all are matching colors. I'm not. We have my sister, Aunt April, in the house today.
Yeah. Hi, I'm so happy. I love him so much.
She loves
Tyson. I love Tyson.
She loves the baby. Tyler's gonna be over here on dad duty.
Yeah.
Feeding. We're all getting the hang of it. We're all just one big happy family this week. Everyone's doing their part. So it's been so fun. We love having April here. You live in Oklahoma. Wah, wah. Wah, wah.
Well, I went to go be with my nieces and nephews, and then here you come and have another nephew.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
You did just leave Florida, huh?
I know that would have been awesome if you're here for 6 months when he was here. Well, we are just going to chit chat all things April. Today, you're going to be the spotlight. Her and I did an episode called Mental Health Doesn't Discriminate. It's actually 2 episodes because it was so long, right? I split it up, or did we?
Oh, yeah. No, it was definitely too long for one episode.
Okay. So that's 2 different episodes 26 and 27. And those episodes are still my highest downloaded episodes out of almost 100. So what did we talk about? We talked about what happened, but I wonder, why do you think it was so popular?
I just really think that people are attached to trauma. So you hear really traumatic and raw stories like mine was. People are just going to be drawn to that. I don't know, it's like true crime. Like, I'm addicted to true crime because of the stories. And so I think that's probably why people followed along. I don't know, maybe some sober people too.
Did we talk about your sober journey on that?
Yeah, at the end.
Okay, because I want to talk about that a little bit too. Get it just to catch up, because that was 2021. Wait, no, 2022 when we recorded that. So a lot has happened in the life of April, I would say. Yeah, let's first talk about, I want to talk about how, I'm really proud of you for how far you've come as far as your habits you have now and habits you love now, because I know for a long time, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, girlfriend. And I think, a little bit of that is in those episodes at the end of 27, talking about just after mom died, the path you chose to go down. And that just happened to be with alcohol for a while. And then now you are completely sober after more than 3 years sober.
Thank you. What was the question?
Sorry, there was no question, but I thought you might just have a little there.
Well, since you guys, kind of from an outsider's perspective, Kayla, because you know her situation, obviously, I don't really know it quite as well.
Yeah.
So
ask away.
Yeah. So, okay. So after your mother, after the incident happened with your mother, that's when you started kind of using alcohol, or is that?
It started when everyone kind of started dwindling out of our lives. So right when my mom died, everyone was always checking in on us. I was always surrounded by people, and then everyone went back to their lives, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I found a bar, and I had so much fun in that bar. I was always antisocial, had social anxiety. I went to that bar and I was like, I'm so much fun. I had no idea. It was so much fun. So, and I was just hooked right then and there. And then it was every weekend. I was like, I don't want to be home. I want to go out and do something with anybody. I was going out with strangers. I was putting myself in really bad situations. Just
like you created a new character almost, kind of.
Oh yeah. That was a completely different April. I've never been her. I'm not her anymore. I thought she was a hoot, but we had to throw her away.
Alcohol can be very fun. Engaging in that kind of stuff is not not fun. That's the downside of it. The rabbit hole people can go down is like very quickly,
You can burn out hard, or you can crash really hard sometimes.
Yeah. And so like you said, it was kind of like you felt like isolated maybe, and you didn't have that support anymore. And so the people in the bar were basically your support in like in a different way, not in like in an encouraging, empowering way, but like, yeah, like let's forget about what happened. Like, yeah. Yeah. So how long would you say it was like a problem for you?
Like, when did it start becoming a problem?
Yeah, and then when did it end?
Oof. I mean, it was almost immediately. I probably started drinking heavier in August, and I remember that Halloween I did something real stupid.
So August 2015.
Which
is the same year, 2
so,
months later.
Yeah. Wow, that is a lot sooner than I thought. Oh, because I mean, I've had my days when, like in college, I would drink heavily. So I always knew that when I drank a lot. But when I was working out with you, you got me on like, what were they? Vodka waters. And so that would be the only thing I drank, and I rarely drank it. And so I always knew that I drank a lot, but it started back up again because I remember I would drink wine and I would drink vodka waters right before Mom died, and I would be just fine. But it was a few months after Mom died, I was like, like my diet went out the window, my gym habits went out the window. It was all about going out and drinking and meeting new people. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that my goal was to black out, but I always blacked out. I don't know if that really was the goal, but deep down inside, if I was drinking, I was blacking out.
You were just avoiding whatever it was that was there. You were kind of going into your alternate world to kind of.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I don't remember being sad back then, but I also never gave myself a break to be sad. So there was never a break of drinking. It was pretty much every single weekend. And then it turned into the weekdays. And there was just, I mean, I still look back on it and I don't feel like I was sad or grieving. Like I still went to therapy but even in my therapy sessions, alcohol was a lot of the talk. They would always be like, maybe let's not drink this weekend. And I'll be like, okay, come back. Well,
Were they ever like saying you needed to go to AA or anything? Or they ever tried to push you in another direction of more than therapy?
No, it never went that far. I did, I don't know if I talked about I think I talked about this in my podcast where, later on I would, kind of off myself, if you would. When I would be drinking, I would, about the situation where I would just try to, like, I attempted probably like 3 times when I was drinking to take my life. And I told my therapist about that. And I actually had we had a suicide plan written out and everything. Like, it was a really big deal. And I have to find a safe place. She has to know someone's number. I can't remember all that the plan was.
So it was like to help you not do it, right? Right? A preventative. Yes. Okay, I'm like, she's not trying to help you, is she? That was very confusing. It's okay. Yeah, I remember one time you called me and it was
no recollection.
Do you remember which one that was?
Yeah, I have videos on my phone.
Yeah. I was in California at a dinner and you're calling me and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just didn't know what to do. But yeah, I mean, man, so obviously me being away, not ever seeing you, I had no idea how bad it was. I think I knew a little bit. I was like, well, April's drinking a little more than she used to. Like you said, you didn't remember feeling sad during those times. And that's kind of how I was, but I used a different outlet as far as coping with that. I think your stint was probably around the same, like 2 years of that straight, right? Drinking more. Yeah.
5.
Because I would say mine took me about 2 years till I hit my wall of like, okay, actually I have to deal with this. So, but I would say you were dealing with it, like you said, as you were also drinking. So it was kind of like you were counteracting your progress a little bit because you were like working on it, but then you would backtrack with drinking.
Well, I also think that being on antidepressants and drinking also played a part of that. So, because I truly don't feel like I was that sad. I was in a terrible relationship at the time, but I think that alcohol and antidepressants should never ever go together, and I would rather be on my antidepressants than alcohol. So
Yeah, it's probably safer to be on that one.
Yeah.
Or the other versus both.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, it just sounds like complete avoidance of the situation, of actually coping 100%.
I've recently learned in therapy that I am an anxious avoidant, which is pretty rare. Someone is either an anxious attachment or an avoidant attachment. And I am an anxious avoidant. So that means that I avoid everything, but I also get attached to everything. So, I mean, I avoided my feelings, but I clinged on to alcohol. It sucks. I don't know how to get help because it's so rare.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
TikTok, how to deal with being an ancient avoidant, and it's all
There's no help for you. I guess what is some advice you would give? Obviously, you're not even 30 yet. You're turning 30 this month. Going through all that so young, and I think that's probably a big problem for a lot of people in their mid 20s, as far as alcohol and not knowing how to deal with their feelings. What is some advice you would give to anyone maybe in that stage of life right now where they don't know how to deal with their feelings, cope, they've been through a traumatic experience and they're using alcohol to suppress everything? What advice would you give?
We kind of talked about this at the end of the last podcast, is just not hitting rock bottom. And if you are questioning yourself, you should probably stop. Like, you're not questioning yourself for nothing. There's something that happened to make you question it. And if you're questioning it more than once, you might, and you can't stop, you might need to get help. You don't have to go to rehab. You can go to AA. You can just seek help. I found it in a church.
I think those things you're talking about are called guilt and regret.
Yeah.
And once you start having a lot of guilt and a lot of regret, those should be know that this is not healthy. Like, if I'm having guilt and regret and there's these bad feelings inside of me, why do I feel like that? That's your kind of boundary for shouldn't be doing that.
And it's fine. You really don't need alcohol to have fun, because I have recently hit a big milestone in my life. I got my 3 years, but I was dancing with the devil a little bit last weekend. Well, actually, from the beginning, it started 2 weeks ago. I got a new job and I was really excited, and I went and took myself out to a steak dinner, and working from home, and I just kind of made a deal with the devil, if not literally, but only 2 people knew that this happened. One, I said that I was going to leave it up to fate because I really wanted a glass of wine to celebrate myself with the steak dinner. I told nobody this except for one person, and then I accidentally told another person. And I said, okay, I'm going to get all dressed up. I'm going to celebrate myself, go to a steak dinner. I'm going to sit at the bar because I've done it plenty of times. So I'm fine at the bar. But I said, now, if somebody looks at me in this nice dress and decides they want to offer me a glass of wine, I will accept it. And I told my friend. One friend was like, "Yeah, you go, girl." The other one was like, "Oh, April, you were doing so good." And I was like, "I'm just gonna leave it up to fate." Bar all by myself. And God had a big old laugh. He sure did. No one was at the bar to offer me a drink. Not a soul.
No one sat out there all night.
No. Just me,
Oh,
literally, and so dressed up. Bar by myself. Crickets. Yeah, me and the bartender were both like, this sucks.
You ended up going out with the bartender afterwards. Like, it was a girl.
Sorry. So that night, I got invited to my favorite bar, Cowboys, and I said no. And then the bartender was like, "Hey, let's go to Cowboys next weekend." I was like, maybe. Told her my story. I was like, I don't know about Cowboys. And then my best friend, who hates country music with a passion, said she went to Cowboys. And I was like, I've got to go. I'm going to
tell us about Cowboys. What's this place all about?
Cowboys. It's a country bar, two-step and line dancing. Oh, that was my place. I got carried out of that bar so many times. Everyone loved me, though. That was a hoot. And that was just my favorite bar. I love dancing. And so this girl, so sweet, the bartender at the steakhouse, offered to not even drink. She was like, "I'll go with you. Like, if you come, I won't drink with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So Thursday night, ladies' get in free. I put on my cowboy boots, which just don't ever come on because I no longer go to Cowboys. And I got there and I had a grand old time. I drank 4 Red Bulls.
Probably didn't sleep all night.
Red Bulls. No. I went straight to sleep.
Wow.
So then the next night, my best friend, her friends just randomly call me. I'm in bed. And they call me and they're like, "April, bestie, come out with us." And I was like, no. And they said, we'll be your wingman. We'll be your wingman. And I was like, okay, you know, help me get some guys. All right. So I go out, Jones Assembly. Everyone is dressed to the nines. I am in yoga pants, tennis shoes, and a sweater. Oh, it was so embarrassing. But then we got the idea to go to Cowboys that night too. So I went to Cowboys again. But these guys were guys. They're just friends, and they were a good old time. We danced. It was so fun. I was their DD, and I was like, I was just on their level with them, and I was not even drinking, but I could be on that level. And I was like, and yeah, it was, and I was double fisting Red Bulls that night. Double fisting Red Bulls. 5 of them that night. Had a blast.
Surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you slept a whole way up until this trip.
Yeah.
I think you are proof that you don't have to drink alcohol to have a good time.
Yeah.
Sober living, y'all. Sober living.
What do you think you've learned from your sobriety, like within yourself or within that journey of just being sober the last 3 years? Like, what's the biggest takeaway from not even alcohol, just being, I know people say they're super clear-headed or, you know, didn't realize that they were so in a fog or.
Yeah, definitely a lot happier. I have a lot more energy. I mean, I have my weekends back because I was either drinking or I was in bed hungover. So I get all my weekend back. Yeah, I'm not as anxious. Like, where am I going to get my next drink? Like, where am I going to go? Like, I don't have to think about that anymore. And I don't have to, worry about what I did when I was blackout drunk, because sometimes it comes to you. It's never the good stuff that comes back to you. It's always the bad stuff. Like,
like you said, sometimes, yeah, when you get to that point and you don't know what you're doing, that can be a very scary thing, not knowing what you did the next day or knowing how you make people feel. Or
the fact that you are alive is a true miracle, that you never went to jail, you're alive, nothing ever happened to you. Oh, well, just one time. But yeah, God, you have some angels looking over you, girl, because I've seen videos. I don't think I've ever witnessed you blacked out. I don't think I have. I remember when you came to California and visited me. That's when I kind of noticed. I was like, she like wakes up and drinks. She goes to bed and drinks. Like, and then I don't know. I think you were just being like very over the top. And I was like, okay, well, she's just probably having a good time. She's on vacation, but I didn't think anything of it.
Do you remember when I snuck vodka in my water bottle on the way to get ice cream? You were downstairs. I was upstairs, and I had a water bottle and I was pouring vodka in it. And you like came up and watched me. Like, you made a comment, and I was like, I can probably pull up those videos. I was a blackout drunk when we were going to get ice cream somewhere. We walked past Zac Efron's house, and I don't remember any of that walk except we passed Zac Efron's house. But we were day drinking. We were good thing he wasn't there. Yeah, that was pretty. I was so embarrassed when you came up, because I was like, all right, no one's around. I'm gonna pour this in here, because I just always had to be having a drink. And that was when we were day drinking, and I had all those Trulies. Man, yeah, like you said, when you feel that instant like guilt, that something's wrong. When you're like embarrassed about someone finding you drinking. I'm proud of you. 3 years. It does not feel like 3 years you've been sober. I mean, what would you say has been your, like, the habits that you have now, habits that you love, that you have now that you didn't have before? I think you've lost a lot of weight. I think you going to the gym. Like, what would you say? Like you said, you had all this time back. What would you say that you love about yourself now? Well, first of all, I've got to warn people, if they are going to stop drinking, they are going to go find a vice somewhere else. And alcohol is a lot of sugar, and you're probably going to go to sugar. And I sure did. I went straight to the ice cream and cereal, and I was having that every day. Don't do that. Don't do that. I gained so much weight. I know some people are like, oh, once you stop drinking, you're going to lose so much weight, but not when you start just, it was a lot of ice cream, cereal, and sugar. So,
it's that same thing. Whenever I quit drinking for a long time, there was a period of time where I just craved sweets.
Yeah.
And I never craved sweets before. And it's because of that glucose and turning to sugar. And
Yeah,
so
you
it's
don't.
like just wanting candy all the time. Like, why do I have a sweet tooth? It's like, oh, I'm replacing for that alcohol.
Yeah, you will replace alcohol with something else, but try to make it a healthy habit. My healthy habit right now, and I've absolutely loved it, is just no carbs. Like, I try to eat the minimum amount of carbs, and I did it, when I was in Florida, just to lose weight. But I realized I have so much energy. I'm just the kind of person that if I eat carbs, I am tired all the time. And I used to take so many naps. So now for 6 days out of the week, I just try not to eat like any carbs. Like, obviously you can't avoid it, but I've had a lot of energy with that. So that gives me energy to do other things, like go to the gym. So now I've been going to the gym, but I've also been working from home. So that's kind of where I get that energy to even go to the gym. But yeah, just got to warn everyone, if you are coming off of alcohol, do not run to the next sugary treat. Just find a good, healthy habit to replace that.
Right.
I did not think about that. Yeah, I forgot. You kind of did actually spike up in weight and then you lost it again. Yeah, I forgot about that. But wow, I just thought that was lack of, I don't know what I thought that was, just lack of working out and eating good, honestly, which obviously that is. But like you said, you replaced one addiction for another addiction. So yeah, that's good advice. So so 3 years sober. And then honestly, you were in a bad relationship. Got out of that. Super proud of you, obviously. And then I feel like you were on this like lull of like you didn't want to talk to anyone, you weren't dating. I was like, she's gonna be single forever. She's gonna be the single aunt forever, never want to be in a relationship. But I think now
You got 5 boys.
you got like 10 boyfriends and all this.
I got a roster.
She's got a whole roster. She's playing the field, y'all. So, okay, let's talk about online dating because Tyler and I have never online dated. Yeah. I've never been on any app. I've never done that whole thing. So, give us the experience of online dating. Like, this is 2024. You know, this is how people meet each other now online. So, how's that going for you? And what
are you talking about? I've met all of these guys at a bar. I'm just kidding.
So how is that? Like, hold on. Like, how does it compare meeting someone in real life, like at the grocery store, versus someone online? Like, have you met just someone out in regular public and exchange your like numbers?
I have not, because guys do not approach women anymore. It is so terrible, and that is why I've resorted to dating apps. Like, I know that, you know, you can get a guy to approach you by like maybe some eye contact. I am not about the eye contact. I like that guy is attractive and I'm going to make sure I'm nowhere near him so he cannot see me. That's
the same for you. You don't approach guys or want to be approached.
Yeah.
You're a little awkward.
Gotta make yourself available.
I am awkward. Well, who would want to approach an awkward person? So I gotta run. But I'm not approaching no guy. A guy's gotta approach me. I want to be pursued.
Yeah.
Women still want to be pursued. Gentlemen. I'm talking to the gentlemen, not the boys, but the gentlemen. We want to be pursued. So you might get rejected by some women, but we like to be pursued.
I do think that's a big problem with guys these days is they aren't confident enough to approach women. I don't know why that is. It's just
because women have made them scared to approach them.
Go, April, go.
It's the women's fault that guys don't approach. Yes, because you've got these feminists that want to be equal and all of this shenanigans. I don't get it. I don't want to be equal. I want a man to take care of me. I'm sorry, but I am a traditional person. But these feminists are just they don't want to be approached. They want to be the man. They want to be on top. So now guys don't feel like they can approach women because a lot of women get offended. Like catcalling. I would love to be catcalled. Sorry, I would like to walk down the street and someone whistle at me. That makes me feel really good about myself. I don't care what they look like, but no, we can't. Guys can't do that anymore.
Yeah, the thing is sometimes I would say like maybe in this culture here, like women might find that like that's disgusting. Why are you doing that to me? But maybe in another culture or some other places, like maybe women appreciate that. You know, I don't know. So there can be differences in culture too. So yeah,
it is the women's fault. But I mean, the men are being babies now and scaredy cats, which is their fault. But women started it. We started it.
It's one of those things. If you want something, then you do have to work for it, and you have to go get it.
Enter April on dating apps.
All right, so yeah, tell us about because you've shown me some messages, and I'm just like, what? Yeah, like, so how is this happening? Why? How does someone?
How does it go down? Like we used to say, I think on like instant messenger, we used to say like ASL, age, sex, location.
Yeah.
ASL.
Oh yeah. ASL. Yep.
Age, sex,
ASL.
location. So like,
But you're like,
oh, I'm 15, Yukon.
you know.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Age 15, sex, no.
Sex, something.
But just I mean, obviously anyone could say anything behind a screen or you're never going to meet this person. But the messages some guys send you, I'm like, my jaw drops. Like
the one provocative?
Yes. Just like the first out of the gate is like,
really?
You're gonna hook up?
Right out of the gate?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, oh yeah. No,
really?
I just can't. I can't deal with abs, honestly.
So, okay, I just gotta interject here real quick. What I have to say about
this guy?
What I have to say about like apps or about, I am a fond believer in that. Like, if you're talking to someone, even if it's just talking to them, okay, let's say you're talking to 5 or 6 guys online, right? I feel like they take some sort of attention. They take some sort of time, effort. So I feel like if you're giving a little piece of yourself to several different people, I feel like you're giving a piece of yourself away a little bit. So in my eyes, I feel like I wouldn't want you to lose.
Well, what do you mean? You're talking about just talking, you're giving yourself away?
If you start creating feelings, you know what I mean? No. So there's no true feelings there.
You gotta have feelings to give them out.
I was gonna say other guys might not be as sensitive as me, and they might not be. That's maybe not what they're interested in giving as well. You know what I mean? Their intentions, I guess, would probably be different than mine.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, right now I'm just casually dating. That's what I would call it. And when I say casual, like it just doesn't go in depth. Like it's not like I have multiple boyfriends.
Right.
It's, having a conversation with somebody, going out on dates with them and seeing how it is. But I feel like I have a really good intuition about guys.
Right.
And so I can tell very quick. Well, it's really when I meet them in person or talk to them on the phone, I get that intuition. Like I can text a guy all day, every day and like be so smitten by him.
Yeah.
But then I meet them in person and I'm like, okay, no, this is not the guy for me. And that doesn't mean I'm never going to see that guy again, but I know that's not my boyfriend. He'll never be my boyfriend. Yeah. And then, when that happens, I kind of like slow down the talking and, I don't know that I lead guys on. I don't think it like our conversations are that deep to where they could even be like, "Oh, this is my girl." Like
if you don't want to pursue it any further, you leave it very shallow and
yes, cuz
Are you just doing it for like pure like entertainment as far or like, to fill your time or
well, I actually read a book and it's the author that wrote Boundaries. I can't remember. It's like, it's called How to Get a Date Worth Keeping. And he suggested to go on 6 dates every week. That is just crazy, but I remember reading that and I was like, I could not do that because if I go on one date with a guy, I am automatically attached.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, no longer, because I have gone on dates, I have gotten attached, and they just play ya. So I decided I'm not getting attached anymore. These guys have to earn my feelings. Like you have to earn your way into, going deeper in conversation with me. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I was just not necessarily for entertainment, but practice for my future husband. So I don't know like how to talk to guys. I mean,
that sounds.
I didn't date for 4 years.
She may laugh at that a little bit, but I think that's like that sounds crazy, but it's like true. It's like very true. Like if you, it's serious. I kind of can think about all the different people that I've dated. They've all had different strengths. They've all had different weaknesses. They all had different characteristics. And I've learned something from each of these people. And so I've also learned what I don't want. and all those things.
That is exactly where I was about to go. Is I've learned a lot with talking to these guys of what are my icks and what do I like and what are red flags that I need to be looking for and all the green flags. So it has actually like really helped me dating multiple types of people so that I know, what kind of man I really want. So I'm just molding him into my mind with every date.
I would say, so I think you are better about boundaries now. I feel like you kind of just used to fall into relationships and then you'd be in that relationship for a really long time. Like you and I are both very monogamous people. Like we like to be in relationships. So I think that's good that you are now in this like single era, but you have these boundaries where I think a lot of women don't. They just are kind of loosey goosey with everything and just let anything happen. And I feel like you are very good about just being straight up with these guys. Like even what you've been telling them this week, I'm like, oh God, I would not be telling people that. Oh, you're kind of
like rejecting people. I'm so passive about.
Are you bad at
everything?
Because you don't like that rejection yourself?
You know what? That's probably it. I don't like being rejected, so I don't like rejecting people. Yeah. I mean, they straight up said the filthiest things. I couldn't even read it out loud to you. You had to read it, and I can't even remember what my response was, but it was not a no. It should have just been a no, but I went.
Nice. You don't want to be too mean and like, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm like that too. I'm like, back in the day, this is obviously before Tyler, but like if I was ever single and someone asked for my number, even if I didn't want to give it to him, I would give it to him. I'm like, why do I do that? Yeah. And then I deal with it later. Like, okay, yeah, sure. Then no, I'm bad about that.
Yeah.
Boundaries, y'all. That's boundaries. Boundary work.
Every time a girl gave me her number, I'd just throw it in the trash.
Well, these days they call you as you put the number in and to make sure.
Freaks.
And that's why I just automatically say yes, because I'm so afraid that they're going to call me and see that I gave them the wrong number or something. So I'm like, here's my real number, but I'm going to block you when I get home. So, I've done that. But I've also learned, that I'm a codependent person. So through these 3-4 years of being single, I've worked on codependency, and I see it when it starts to happen. The very first guy that I got attached to, he was drama. He was a douche kebab, and I saw it. But I'm always attracted to those guys. Like the last relationship I had is like 4 years. It started out him being such a jerk, and I just was instantly attracted to him. Like he said some inappropriate things to me from the beginning, and I was like, yeah, I like a challenge. And so sure enough, this guy was showing signs, and he was, playing games, and I was at no. And I remember I was with my best friend, and she was seeing the signs, I was seeing the signs, and I had two options: end it now or play the game that he wanted to play. I knew how to play that game. I like that game. It's kind of fun. And I was like, I can play this game right back. Like, you want to play? And I was so tempted. Yeah, I was like, this is going to be another 4 years of this. I've done it 3 times now. I'm not doing it again. So I was like, oh, I cried. Like, I was really sad to see him go, but it was
That's good that you're aware of that, though. I think your awareness and your boundaries have really improved enough to even recognize, stopping that in its tracks. I'm proud of you. I'm proud. You've learned a lot about yourself, honestly. Yeah. Like, I really think your single era has done you well, sis. Yeah, it's been good.
Sometimes you gotta be by yourself for a little while, even though you don't want to be, but.
I want to be,
but
I love being single.
It is good. They say that. I told you this quote all the time. If you're lonely when you're alone, then you're in bad company. So that's one of those things. Yeah, you're lonely when you're alone. You're in bad company. So learn how to.
Are you lonely when you're alone?
Heck no, I love being alone.
Okay.
Enjoying her space.
You're physically alone, but I'm saying when you're engaging in all these conversations with guys, is that trying to not be lonely? You know?
I think there's a little bit different. Like, okay, so the quote is, if you're lonely when you're alone, then you're in bad company. She doesn't mind being alone. She is good there, but she also is okay with having another person's company. I think if that.
When people or when the guys on the apps ask me, and not very many people do because they suck. When they ask me, what are you looking for? What do you want? What are you on the apps for? I say,
I was going to ask you that.
my response is a little something like this: is I'm out there, just kind of seeing what's out there, and if I find someone that is worth disturbing my peace, because I'm independent, I'm single, and I don't mind being single, but if there is someone that is willing or that makes me, want to bring someone in my life and interrupt that peace and being able to just do what I want when I want, then that's when I will seriously consider dating someone or date someone. But you've got to be,
Got it going on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at peace right now with myself, and I don't want that interrupted by drama and
someone else's insecurities or their desires,
yes,
what they want for your life, whatever it is.
Yes, if you've got to have worked all your stuff out before you come to me. I am naturally a caretaker. I want to take care of somebody. I want to help them. I want to save them, but I'm not doing it anymore. I want to be an equal, but not gender wise.
You want to be an equal, loving, compassionate.
Yes.
Joint relationship.
I want to take care of somebody that doesn't need to even be taken care of. Like, I still want to be that caretaker, but I don't want to be your mommy.
That's kind of what I told, like, when me and Kayla first got together, is like, I really don't think that we need each other necessarily. Does that make sense? Like, I don't need her. She doesn't need me. Like, we were probably good on our own. We could have been that. We wanted to be with one another. We enjoyed that. So.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You don't need me. I don't need you. But
so let this be a PSA. Ding, ding, ding. We got a single
and ready to mingle,
ready to take care of you.
All independence
and all your needs.
I cook.
Ready to mingle.
You don't really clean.
Like a Pringle.
I will hire the maid.
We'll coordinate the maid. Oh,
I love to travel.
Yeah, she's balls of fun. Clearly. She has what?
She has wigs.
I do have a purple wig from one of the casual daters.
Okay, so that's good. That's your answer to that. I was going to ask you, what is your goal with the apps? And so I think you answered that. So that's good. Yeah.
I think you answered that. You told everybody that, which is coming clear, concise, and correct. I like it.
So obviously your app is turned on now when you're in Florida. So what if you meet a Florida man? What would happen? What if you met a Florida man that was worthy of disturbing your peace? Would you move here?
Yes, I would. When I moved from Florida, I was like, I'm never moving back there again. I need my Tyson time.
Aww.
I want to be back here so bad. I'm telling you, if I did not renew my lease, I would be searching for a work from home job and making Florida work now.
Oh, well, we wish you were here too.
Yeah.
But if he lives in the mountains, I would really love to live in the mountains.
Oh yeah, she wants a mountain man. Yeah. She wants a mountain man. So anyone listening or watching this, if you're in the mountains and you're up on your hill and you're a lumberjack with, in your cabin and you're good emotionally,
but you're at peace by yourself in the mountains.
Yeah. And you're good emotionally. You can message me on Instagram and I'll give you her number.
Hair color if she wants.
Yeah, she's constantly switching her hair colors.
I like it.
Any other thing you want to say on habits you love?
I don't know. Just find the habits that work for you. Not every habit works the same for everyone else. I got rid of the alcohol and then substituted it for sugar, and that was not good. And then I took out the sugar, took out the carbs, and it was good. And I think that working from home is good for me. So I'm glad I found this job that I did. But I've spent time with myself. I did research on jobs that I feel like I would thrive in, and that's how I got into medical coding.
Oh yeah, I guess one more question. I know you kind of said what you've learned about yourself during the single era, but let's do another like advice to anyone that's, maybe chronically in relationships that doesn't think they need to spend time by themselves or can't get to that point of like I can't be alone. What would be your advice to people like that, especially young women? I think that's how young women get into these horrible relationships, because they cannot be alone. So what would be your advice for anyone that needs to be alone?
What have I learned? I mean, just being a lot happier. I mean, let me tell you, it is so nice not having to worry about someone else. What they want for dinner, what their feelings are, their tone. Like, you don't have to think about their tone.
Yeah.
What are they out doing? It is just so peaceful not being with a man. I'm sorry, but
No, that's awesome, April. You sound like you're very at peace with yourself, and I wish everyone could find that internal peace with themselves.
every girl needs a single stage.
Mm-hmm.
Every girl, because like you said, we're very monogamous people. From the time I was 14 to 25, I was in a committed relationship, and just go do something. I would highly suggest solo traveling. Everyone is always like, "Oh, I always want to do that." I'm like, "Okay, well then why aren't you doing it? Why do people always talk about things they want to do, but they don't do it?"
Oftentimes people will actually reveal what they're not doing. A lot of times you'll hear people tell you, I want to do this, I want to do this, and what they're telling you is like, I'm not doing this,
That's a big red flag to me with guys when they're telling me like they want to do this, they want to do this. The biggest thing is like when I tell them that I cook, they're like, "Oh, I would like to cook. Like I need to start cooking more. Oh, I'm going to cook," but they never do. And it's just like, okay, you can't even commit to something that small. You're never going to commit to me. But I just solo travel. Go somewhere you want to go to. I hate how expensive it is, but it's so worth it. You find so much peace within yourself when you are.
Yeah, finding peace, and also you learn a lot about yourself, how you handle situations. Say your flight is delayed or canceled, or you have a flat tire on a road trip, or something happens with your hotel. I think it's wow, didn't silence our cell phones.
Silence, alarms on.
I think that shows a lot about yourself as well. All right, well that was so fun. I love you so much. Thank you. I know.
Get on these dating apps and see what the guys are doing.
That's what we should have done.
We're still on here. We still got time.
Let's go.
If you don't pay for the app, you have a maximum of people you like on there.
How many is it a day?
No idea. Oh, I have a new match.
And now she's talking to someone named Tyler, so we can't have another Tyler in this.
Swipes, we gotta go.
Because he has a Dalmatian. If he did not have that Dalmatian, I would not have liked him.
All right, y'all.
We're done.
Wait, let's do. Sorry, one. What is one thing you know for sure? One thing you know for sure. If you could give any piece of advice, everyone would listen and follow it. What is it?
Oh, I'm giving advice. Is it to give advice? Because one thing I know for sure is my worth. I know what I am worth. And I might be rejected by a lot of men. A lot of men. But I know my worth. That is what I know.
That's good.
Ooh, love you. All right. Thanks for being on Habits You Love.
Thanks for being here. April, you're the best aunt.
Yeah. You're the best aunt ever. We need you here more often.
Yeah, we need you.
Yeah,
we need you. Okay, GoFundMe. The GoFundMe will be attached in the show notes for April's ability to live here. Except we have to get a bigger place if that's gonna be the case. But
That already is the case. We got a lot of baby stuff.
I know. All right, signing off. Bye bye.
Peace.